welcome to SA Footballer TV, the weekly roundup with TJ and
Darcy Evans. How are you, TJ?
Fantastic, mate. What a great day we had. It's, of course, a Sunday night at Portland Hotel, one of our great sponsors. Thanks to all our great sponsors. We're doing round 6 covering round 11. Sorry, doing Division 6 covering round 11, moving forward to round 12. But it was a big round 11, wasn't it, Darcy?
Oh, massive round yesterday. Yes, it was very good. And no real surprise, but we'll obviously talk about that through later on.
There certainly was a match of the round because it was 1 battling 2, and we were there for the live call, weren't we? It was Woody South and West Croydon, mate. And let's go through the vital statistics.
Well, massive day too, huge crowd. I've never seen a crowd like that for Division 6. It's probably bigger than the Division 1 crowd that we did a few weeks ago.
Certainly about 500 people there, and past players' day, past players drinking responsibly as much as they could from siren to siren for $25, and the biggest spread of food you've ever seen.
It was
and
massive.
My God, the crowd was sensational. The atmosphere was great. The barbecue was good, wasn't it?
Smashed that down.
Yeah, if you look, I mean, if you're watching this and you're near West Croydon for one of their home games, get on down. It is an absolute spectacle.
Ball terror.
Even put on a car crash for us, didn't
they? They did in the game, so had everything yesterday. So, but anyway, we'll do. So West Croydon did take out the Bickies. They got a top spot, 39-87, defeated Woody South 11-10, 76. So very close game. It was a very good game the whole day. Very tough fought out. And right to the
seesawing. Seesawing in a sense, not goal for goal, but teams seemed to take control in patches, didn't they? Woody South in the third, I think, kicked 3 or 4 in a row and looked like they could snatch the game, but in the end, West Croydon were too good. So chief goal kickers for West Croydon were Sumner with 4, Horseman with 3, Giles with 2, and several singles. Better play as well. Ducks and Drakes going on here. Horseman Francis, the big ruckman Phillips, who he seemed to call all day. Jamie Lee Curtis and Nichols, the captain from memory. But there was one man that stood out. Now he hasn't got the best players, but he won the ex-players, past players award. That was Jacob Sumner.
Best on ground by a mile.
Yeah, look, and you don't want to make big calls. We're not here to just make outlandish calls, but it was said by more than one person yesterday. You watch a Div 6 game, very rarely do you see a player that you say, well, this kid could play Div 1.
Absolutely.
He was electric. He kicked goal of the day from the pocket after taking on a couple of Woody South Cats, and absolutely brilliant game from young Jacob Sumner, and he is one to watch, and he'd have to be in medal contention with form like that.
Absolutely. And we talk about Phillips. You said before, mentioned his name all day. He was an college basketball player.
Yes.
First year playing football, and again he was fantastic all day.
Yep, we had them as the best too. We obviously did our own sort of votes, and Phillips in his 10th game of football, like not SAFL football, 10th game of football, absolutely unbelievable. Of course, he is 7'13", so that helps. Just touches the 8-foot barrier with high heels on. But yeah, hard to stop. Just take us quickly through the Woody South side.
Yeah, Woody South, goal scorers was Ransom with 2, Burns with 2, and goal scorers to about 8 other individuals, so they did spread it around a bit. Best players, Dankovic, where he was by far their best player all day. Portatello, very well, we called his name out because I couldn't even pronounce his name yesterday, so much better.
I've gone off the page, mate.
Giatrakos, you know very well.
Yes, he didn't have numbers.
So yes, they all. What we saw yesterday, they were definitely the best players and well done too.
I thought Ahmad as well was very good.
Yes.
Clark up forward, only kicked one, probably kicked 1 goal 3 or 4. I think he'll have days out. That he's a big, strong lad. Kicking wasn't so good, but great hands, and definitely a focal point for them up there. I reckon it certainly was a grand final preview.
Absolutely. Ahmed and Phillips, they both rucked all day, and it was just a fantastic contest as well.
Yep. Let's get on to our next game. It was Mitchell Park and Houghton Districts. This one was at Houghton Memorial. Houghton Districts starting to really hit struggle town these days. They have lost 12 goals, 12-84. Mitchell Park 15-10, 100. So that's a big win for Mitchell Park. Should actually move them off the bottom of the ladder just about. Perhaps percentage might not get them there, but their second win of the year. For Houghton Districts, it was Dolan with 3 and Bray with 2. They had about 7 or 8 players kicking singles. Better players, Dave Keach, who's been struggling with injury. Good to see him in the best players, with Morris, Curry, Vandam, Moore and Jones. On the Mitchell Park side, it was... You haven't got it, so I'll just go through it. Halim with 4, Nate McDonald with 3, Walchak with 2, as was doubles for Pike and Hyde. Halimi, Power and Roberts were their better players. So the second win of the year, the Lions Den would have been a rockin' back there on Saturday night.
They're still on bottom, unfortunately, by 0.62%, so very, very small percent there. But
I'll tell you what it has done, though, mate. It's given them an opportunity to avoid relegation.
Absolutely, it has.
Certainly some belief, and I think one of the teams I'll certainly be chasing is Houghton. So Houghton have hit struggle town. Our next game, please, mate.
Yes, it's Mawson Lakes versus Brahma Lodge, so a big win there to Brahma Lodge. It was 19-10, 124. to Mawson Lakes 14-13-97. So good win there. As we see, Brown Lodge, Aloisi with 9 goals. I mean, here's obviously the difference on the day. So 9 goals, well, Still with 3, Savage with 2, then singles to 8 or 6 other players, 6 players, yep. And the best players is Hutma, Aloisi, second best of course with his 9 goals, Savage, Steele and Kozina. And obviously we go now to more slates with Brown with 4, Kent with 3, Keats with 2 and singles to 7 other players. And best players Buchanan, McCammon again, that's another Buchanan, McCannon, Brown,
it's 2 different names.
Two different
you're not
names.
stuttering there, son.
Exactly. And Medrin. So no, very good win there, Bram Lodge. Bram Lodge there, that puts them now in 4th spot, and Mawson Lake's probably not quite struggling. They're in 6th spot, so just 1 game out of the 5. We'll come to that in a minute.
Money well spent. Next one was Ingle Farm. They were too good. They went into the Parklands, and they've knocked off Adelaide Lutheran in a close one. Ingle Farm 12-10-82, Adelaide Lutheran 10-8-68. For Lutheran, it was only Elms and Yalton with doubles, whilst Anspatch, Hickey and Knoll were their better players. For Ingle Farm, 1 man stood out, and that was Nick Lynch with 7 goals, with 5 players kicking singles. Zach Hancock was surprisingly awarded their best, and Lynch was their second best, with Smart and Jay Ferguson. I assume that might be Joel Ferguson. There's a lot of old St Martin's, St Paul's, Blackfriars boys starting to crop up for Ingle Farm, so yeah, probably some good footballers coming through. And our last game, Darcy?
Last is Trinity versus Fitzroy. Fitzroy again, very good win there. 15-3-93 defeated Trinity 12-9-81. So Fitzroy, you get Whedon in the full forward line there with 6 goals, so a big bag for him. Renwick with 2, Dixon with 2, Avery with 2, and the singles to 3 other players. Best players were Smith, Avery, Frampton, Whedon with his goals with 6 goals, Hutchison and Leake. And for Trinity was Lamont with 3, Cotter with 3, so again we see those names come up every week as well. Couldn't quite get him over the line though. Singles to, gee whiz, 1, 2, 3, 7 other players, and best players for Trinity is Cavallero, winning Pound, gee this is very multicultural, Poundius, Paul and McPhil. So if I pronounce that name wrong, that Poundius, apologies, but well done, get the best players.
Once again, winning and McPhail and the same best players. It always amuses me. Goal kickers so fast here. Looks like Timmy Aloisi's stitched it up, and he'll be there on medal night, floating around, bobbing his head around, because his kick 55. Who's Woodcock, just the one yesterday on 35. Nick Lynch making a charge with 34. Nate McDonald 33. And Christopher Clark, the boy we were talking about earlier on, has kicked 28 for the year, and a very good forward indeed. Now the ladder, the most interesting thing about this weekend's results for Div 6 is the bottom 2 won. This time of year that doesn't happen a lot of the time, does, but
pressure on Houghton Districts and Fitzroy.
Yeah, look, it's one of the more interesting competitions Div 6 in the sense that I think any one of the bottom 5 could get relegated.
Correct. Brown Lodge, they're probably safe because they are 3 games clear of Trinity, so that puts them in a good position. Brown Lodge. I
think that the top 3 sort of, and we've said it all year, are a standout in West Croydon, Woody South, Ingle Farm. Ingle Farm just slipping under the radar a little bit. They could, if Woody South were to drop a game, Ingle Farm could really snatch that home final, which would be huge. But look, it's West Croydon's and Woody South to lose at the moment. I think we'll see them the last day in September.
What we saw on the weekend was brilliant. But as you said, there's only 2 games separating 5th and 10th. So, as you said, TJ, very interesting division here.
Yeah, that's 2 games 5th and 10th. So those teams who are currently in the relegation zone might actually still. They might think, hey, we're a chance to make the finals.
Winning on the weekend.
And look, we say it regularly, Westminster were the poster child for it. In these lower divisions, you can come from 4th, you can come from 5th, if you get no injuries and so forth.
Indeed.
Get some momentum up. But round 12 of Division 6 will start this week at Brahma Lodge Oval, where it's Brahma Lodge and Houghton Districts. Brahma Lodge are in 4th, Houghton Districts are on the slide, so Brahma Lodge will win this.
Yeah, totally out there as well. I know they're both up that way, but no, Brahma Lodge exactly. Yep.
Mitchell Park and Fitzroy. This one's quite an interesting one. Fitzroy have been on the improve as of late. Again, look, this one, could end up, when we look back on the end of the year, be a deciding game for who gets relegated. Gee, I just think Fitzroy just for this one.
Fitzroy, they are. Yeah, okay, but Mitchell Park, look, as I said, they won last week, and probably on a bit of a roll, but still Fitzroy for me as well.
Yeah, and the last 3 games for me are all pretty. I'd be surprised if we get any of these wrong. Woody South and Mawson Lakes at Woodville South. From what I saw at Woody South, a very impressive unit, very well coached, and I think they'll be too strong for the boys from the Lakes.
Agree.
Ingle Farm and Trinity, it's at Roe Park, so I think Ingle Farm, like we said, just sneaking under the radar at 9 and 3.
Yeah, aren't they?
They'll be looking for a good win here, although Trinity definitely a danger side. And our last one, Darcy.
Yeah, and LA Lutheran versus West Croydon. Again, West Croydon, what we saw on the weekend, absolutely brilliant. That's why they're on top. And I think they'd knock over LA Lutheran pretty smartly, I would imagine.
And look, the testament to their improvement, I think, comes from their depth. So, whilst the C grade might not get a lot of kudos, we talked to their president on the weekend, and you can watch our live call. I think it'll be posted around the place on our Facebook page and so forth. And talk about the implementation of a C grade and bringing it across the boys from Wingfield. Put your pants down, son. Was really important because it's created the depth and the pressure. Look, their B grade, who perennially been strugglers, lost their first game for the year on the weekend. Their A grade have dropped one game all year and could have won it. Sorry, they drew one game. So well done to the boys in the C grade, and of course well done to the girls down at West Croydon as well. We were there for a quadruple header. It's a lot of football, isn't it?
Yes. 10:15 it started right through the girls, and they finished about 8:30 that night. So.
Yeah. Right, Darcy, beautifully done, mate. It's been Div 6. We'll be back next week.
See you later.